Hi, I'm Michaela, an elementary instructor with TechWise Academy. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're going to be using Microsoft's MakeCode, which is a free coding platform used to make different games, specifically retro games. So in our turkey game, we're going to have a turkey, we're going to have platforms, we're going to have other caged turkeys that we need to rescue, and then we'll have a big purple bar at the top. So the goal is to get the turkey to jump from platform to platform, and then when it does, we're going to rescue the caged turkeys. And then once we get to that big purple bar at the top, we'll let the game know that we have won. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into MakeCode and then the arcade. In our skills map section, there's going to be a turkey day 1. And we're going to do this in 3 parts. So part 1, part 2, and part 3. So with part 1, go ahead and load that one up. Part 1 is going to come up with a little video here in just a second when it fully loads. And this video is actually going to be step 1. So step 1 is just kind of showing you what our goal is or what we're trying to achieve. So it says, welcome, happy Turkey Day. This activity will show you how to make a jumpy platform game. Click OK to get started. And then there's a speaker button here. So that was actually step 1. Step 2 says, where's the turkey? And then there's a speaker button here. And that's actually on every step. It says, where's the turkey? Let's create a turkey sprite and get it moving before we do anything else. What's a sprite? A sprite is a character. It's got different properties and things that can be changed by the computer programmer. So we're going to set a big turkey to sprite of kind player, and we're going to put it inside this green on start one. Perfect. So on start, so right when the start of the game, we're going to set a turkey, its name is Big Turkey, to sprite, and it's going to look like this. Well, it's going to have something in there. And it's going to be a player sprite. So this is the sprite that the player or the person playing the game is going to be controlling. Step number 2, since we don't want our turkey to look like an empty box, we need to make it look like an actual turkey. We're going to click on the gray box, we're going to go to My Assets, and then clicking on the turkey and then click Done. Now it says, for step 3, it says, set the big turkey to look like this. So its name is Big Turkey, it looks like this, and it's a player kind of sprite. Step number 4 says, time to get the player moving. From the controller category, grab Set Big Turkey, or move Big Turkey with buttons VX and VY, and pop it into the on start. So in controller, we need this one. And this just allows us to move the turkey using this little joystick down here, or using the arrow keys on the keyboard. So this one says, we're going to have velocity, which is Vx, and Vy. Velocity is speed and the direction that the object is traveling. In this case, it's our turkey. So a Vx velocity, which means left and right because x-axis is left and right, if we have 100 in here, we'll be able to move left and right. But a Vy, so velocity on the y-axis, is 0. That means that we can't move up and down. So we have added that block. And it says try it. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. I should be able to move the turkey with my joystick and with my arrow keys as well. And that is exactly what we should have. But you'll notice that that purple bar at the top, that's where we're trying to get to. So we're already at the top right now, and that's a huge advantage. We need the turkey to start at the bottom, which is actually what it's going to fix right now. To make the game playable, it needs gravity. For that, we'll need acceleration. And acceleration is the process of velocity, so the direction and speed, but it changes. So I found this image, it really helped me understand it. So when speed or direction changes, it's acceleration. So this person running is accelerating because they are speeding up. Their speed got faster. This person is also accelerating because their speed changed, but their speed is getting slower. It's getting a smaller number, if you will. And then this bumblebee is changing its direction, so it is also accelerating. So it's changing the direction and or speed. So we're going to get this turkey to fall downwards. We're going to change its position. So from the sprites category, we're going to grab Set Big Turkey AY acceleration to 500. And it's going to go in here. We have a Y acceleration because we don't want it to go left and right. We want it to fall to the down. So we have Y. So Y goes to the sky. Y is the up and down axis. We will have it go that way. I did notice if you have a negative 500 here, your turkey's actually going to float. and we don't want it to do that. So if that is an error that you are having, make sure that there is not a 500 or not a negative 500. You want a positive 500 there. And our turkey has fallen, but now the camera is facing right here. We can't see the turkey anymore. The turkey's still in the game, we just can't see it as the player. So the camera is what we are looking at. So we're going to get the camera from the scene, and we're going to tell it to follow the big turkey. This way, when the camera, or when the turkey falls, the camera, or what the player is looking at, will follow it as well. Perfect. And now we see our turkey kind of chilling on the platform. Step number 9 says the turkey landed, but it's already near the top of the tile map, or this like background where we're trying to get to the top. We're already there. So from scene, drag place big turkey on top of a random spot. So from the scenes, we're going to grab this one. This will tell the computer, hey, place the big turkey on top of a random spot, but this is just a random spot in the background. We don't necessarily want that to happen. So in here, we're going to change it to be a little line. So when I click on this, there's my line. This is a very specific spot in the map that the turkey will start on. And right under the turkey is where that little line is. I think the next step actually tells me to change that. It does. So I clicked on this and I changed it to the line. This line is right here. That's where we want the turkey to start at the start of the game. Now that the turkey is on the ground, we need to make it so that it can jump using the A button. And by A button, it means the A button on this device. If you're using a computer, it's the spacebar. So we're going to go into controller and we're going to drag out this one. This line of code says that every time the A button is pressed or the spacebar is pressed, our character should change its Y velocity, so going up, it'll change its position going upwards, and then it will come back down. And it doesn't matter where you put this as long as it's an empty space, so I could put it here, could put it here, perfect. We're gonna hit next, and then it says to play your game. Give your game a try by using the arrow keys and pressing the A or the spacebar. Can you get your turkey to the top? I'm not going to try to get it to the top because I know that I could as long as my code works. I can move up and I can move left and right. I can click on these and I can press the A button. That's exactly what we should have so far. And then next, this is just telling you that you've done part 1. So we're gonna go ahead and hit done. And we're gonna go on to part number 2 of this. And part number 2 is going to be how we get the other turkeys out of the cage. And the cage turkeys are not technically sprites. They're actually different parts in the background, but we're going to make them become sprites. It says, welcome. In this tutorial, we'll show you how to add code to rescue the turkeys in the cages. Speaker button, and okay. So step number 2 says, first check your game. So we should be able to, and I want to make sure the code loaded right, should be able to move, and we should be able to jump. Excellent. And now we'll get those turkeys to look like they're being rescued. So right now it says turkey to the rescue. When the player overlaps a cage tile, let's trigger some code. So this block of code, so this all starts when the start is at the start of the game, and this starts when either the A or spacebar is pressed. We're going to have a new event, which is just something that starts your code, and every time that our turkey overlaps a cage turkey is what it will eventually be, we're going to start a new line of code. So from this one, on sprite of kind, so when the player sprite, aka the turkey, overlaps, we don't just want any specific spot on the map. We want it to be the cage turkeys. So when the big turkey, which is our player turkey, when it overlaps or touches the cage turkey at the location which the turkey is in, it should change the score by 1. Excellent. And then it says, look at your game window. Guide the turkey to a cage. What happens when the two overlap? Which block do you think causes the points to increase? Change score by 1 is going to be the one that does that. So if I were to do that, I could go over to do this one. Every single time my turkey touches this specific spot in the map, so this cage turkey, I get points. And every single time it does that. As long as I'm not touching it, I don't get points. But that's not how we want our game to work. We want to actually rescue the turkey. So if I continue on, it says, uh-oh, you get way too many points when you overlap a cage. We can fix that by replacing the cage with an empty tile once you reach it. So from scene, we're going to drag out this block from scene, and we will get this block. So right now, once our turkey overlaps the cage spots in the map, we change the score by 1, but then we actually change it to be a blank background. So it's just another like sky piece, like this blue area. It's whatever is behind it. So it looks like it's there, and then once we touch it, it goes away. And then give it a try. So now if we do that, we have a cage spot in the map right here, but once my turkey touches it, that cage spot's actually just going to be a regular spot in the map. It should look like some sky. And now we only got 1 point. Go ahead and stop that. I did not try to get all 15 turkeys. I could have if I had wanted to, but I'm going to try that at the very end. Step number 7 says, you have the start of a very nice game. Each time you overlap a cage, let's make a new turkey follow you to freedom. So from sprites, drag out the set free turkey. So now we have 2 sprites. We have a turkey that's called Big Turkey, and then we have another group of sprites that's called Free Turkeys. So we want to set the Free Turkey sprite to that kind of rescued, and it's under the sprites block. Perfect. So every time we go to a cage spot on the map, we get the score. We go to an empty space on the map, and then we have another Free Turkey, and they're going to look like, nope, not gallery, sorry, I wanted assets, little turkey. So now every time we touch the cage section, we get a point. We put a blank tile right there, and then we are just telling the computer that, hey, the free turkeys, they look like this, and they're rescued. Next, we're going to get those turkeys to follow us. Or, I'm sorry, it's going to look like the turkeys leaving the cage. So it says, what good does it do to add the turkey if you can't see it? Let's get each new turkey to appear in the same place as the cage disappeared from. So from the scene section, we're going to place free turkeys on top of their current location. So right where they are. So I'm going, or right where I am, I guess. So I will go from scene, there we go. We want this one on top of location. So we want to place them right as they are. Perfect. We'll place the free turkey on top of my current location, but my current location is where the cage used to be. And then give it a try. So we should have a little turkey that appears when we go over the cage. So if I go over to this cage, perfect, there's my little turkey. And it would do that for literally every single one. I'm just not going to try it with just more than one. Leave no turkeys behind. From sprites, drag, set free turkeys to follow the sprite. So this way it's going to follow us around. And we're going to do this every single time we go over a cage spot in the map. So if I do that, we're going to set the free turkeys to follow the sprite. So they'll follow us around. And then it wants us to test it out again. So now when I go and rescue this turkey should follow me around. It'll jump when I jump, and it'll follow me wherever I go. That is going to be the end of part 2. And then we'll go into part 3. So we'll hit done, and then part 3. Part 3 is winning the game. And how we're going to do that is by making it so that if the turkey touches the top of the tile map where that purple section is, then we win. So that was step 1. So step 2 says first play what you have. So it's going to make sure that we still are able to move left and right, we're able to jump, and that we're able to get the turkey out of the cage and it follows us around. That's parts 1 and 2. And then it says let's add a way to win when the turkey gets the purple tiles at the top. So this time we have 3 events right now. We have when this code runs when the spacebar is pressed, that's the jumping one. This all runs when the start of the game. This runs whenever we touch a cage. Now we're going to get another one. We're going to get this one, but we don't want any random tile. We want it to just be the solid purple. So we'll click on this. And when the player sprite, so when our turkey overlaps the purple section at the location that the purple is in, then we will do whatever is inside of this code. So we'll hit next. From the Carnival tab, we're going to get a game over best time. So when the game is over, this will display the best time on the game. And then I did want to point out that there is a plus button here. We can add different effects like confetti. I personally really like the smileys that fall down. You can also add, while I'm thinking about it, you could add a plus here. This will change the speed at which the little turkeys follow the big turkey. So we'll have that one there. And it says play your game. I will test it out here in a second, but I want to add the next code because I know what the next code is. And it says we're going to add a timer. And normally, before we've been adding it to the same different kind of event. We are not going to add it to this one because that would be on start kind. So when our player overlaps the purple boxes at the top, then we should start the timer. We don't want the timer to start when we get to the finish line. We want the timer to start when we get to the game, or when we start the game. So right when we hit start, right when the game loads, this timer will start. So now I'll actually go ahead and try that. Notice how my timer did start. I want it to start over. Perfect. And I know that my job is to get to the turkeys. If I get them, that's great. But if not, I'm actually just testing the part of my code where I can win the game. I'm going to go ahead and just see what if that one section of code works, because if it doesn't, then I need to go back and fix that, whereas I know the rest of my code has been working so far. So I am going to go up there hopefully as quickly as possible. I am not a gaming expert. I am trying, but see if you can beat my score, which I think that you probably could. And yes, I know that my turkeys are coded to follow me, especially the ones that I get. Sometimes they get stuck on different platforms because they're a little bit delayed behind me. I could try to change the speed at which they follow me so that maybe they don't get stuck on the different platforms. But for right now, I'm just testing to see if my code that I just recently added works. And I know that the timer is working. Oh, I just fell. There we go. And you'll notice that the timer looks like it's going slower. That's because it's not going up by milliseconds. It's going up by regular seconds now. Oh no! I fell down again. That's okay. Let's try going this way then. I'm pretty close to the top. There. And then my smiley face is rained down. Perfect. And it says my score is 92 and my best score, and I'll have my best score. So that way, if I play it again, the computer will know, hey, 1 minute and 32 seconds is how long it took you. If I beat that, if I get 1 minute and 30 seconds, it would know my updated score. If I hit next, it just says play your game. I did play my game. And then it says we finished it. I did want to point out a couple of things because right now, let me make this bigger. Right now, my turkey moves to the right and it faces the right. But if I move to the left, it faces the right. Me, personally, that does bother me. So I did find a way to fix that. And we can go and hit done. We're going to collect our rewards, claim your reward. We got a badge, and then we've got a certificate. I don't want to open the certificate right now. But if I go back to number 3, or the third part of this game, I can actually hit save to my projects. And once I do that, it's going to open up in a free create mode, and you'll notice that there's going to be a lot of blocks. There's going to be a lot more options because this is not tied to the tutorial anymore. So a couple of things. I'm first going to go into assets, and then I see a whole bunch of different assets. These are the ones that I have made or are already included actually because I didn't make these. So if I click on this turkey, the first thing I'm going to do is duplicate it. And now I have 3 of them. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on one of the ones that I copied. I'm going to go to edit. And then I'm going to use this tool right here at the very top. It looks like it's kind of like a little triangle. I'm going to click on that and it turns my turkey so it's facing to the left. Now you'll know that I have a right one and a left one. So we can go ahead and hit blocks. This at the top would be how you would do it in JavaScript if you want to try coding with JavaScript. I'm going to be using blocks. So we're going to get another one of these because this says every time the A button is pressed, we should be jumping. But I also want that same block. Grab this one out, it's in controller. I want the same block, but I want a different option. So I'm going to change this so not when the A button is pressed, I want it to be when the right arrow and then when the left arrow is pressed. Perfect. I did not use up and down because I cannot move up and down. And then I'm going to go under sprites, and towards the very bottom there's the set my sprite, so it'll set this certain sprite to a certain kind of image. I right clicked on that to duplicate that block instead of finding it again. And if a little triangle comes up, yep, like this, that's okay. Because there's two kind of sprites in the game right now. We have free turkeys and we have big turkey. So the computer does not know what kind of sprite my sprite is. So we're going to change that to be big turkey. We're also going to change that to be big turkey. And then let's move this over a little bit. We don't want it to just look like a blank square. We want it to be a specific one. So this is the right. So I'm going to go to my assets and I'm going to click this one that's facing to the right. And I'm going to do this one, except this time I want it to be facing to the left. So I want this turkey. Done. So now if I were to put it in big screen, I can face the way that I'm walking. For me personally, that helps me out. It just makes my life a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to visualize. There are lots of fun things that you could do on MakeCode. Maybe you could make it a 2-player game. Maybe you could make it so that it does not double jump. Maybe you can make it so the little turkeys follow you faster. There's lots of different possibilities. So I hope you have a wonderful time creating your game, and I hope that you and your family have a wonderful, happy, and safe Thanksgiving. Thank you.